Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our annual official association meeting. You know, all the other meetings we've had, they were just sort of unofficial, casual affairs that we had. But today, each November constitutes the official association meeting. That's where we make all the key decisions for the rest of the year. I don't know if we have one key decision to make. And then if anybody else has any other ideas, we want to make sure we pass all the rules and regulations that we think necessary for next year. So we're open. It'll be an open forum for that. But we'll start with our moment of silence. Thank you very much. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to introduce, we have new residents here. We have Tina Moore and Tom Featheringham. Are they here? There they are. Please stand up and welcome them. They're from Vermont. So where's your husband? He's waiting for, doesn't he know that this is such an important meeting? He has to attend. Anyway, and they moved into 103 Sycamore, and they're from Sutton, Vermont. I don't know where Sutton, Vermont is. Does anybody know where Sutton, Vermont? Look at all the people from Vermont here. Where is it? Northeastern part of the state. Near Canada? I should ask them. But anyway, welcome. We're happy to see you. And then we have David Hopper from Hamilton, New York. And he moved into 106 Sycamore. And where is Hamilton? And where is Syracuse?
New York have sort of clever names for their tourism. Niagara Frontier, the Adirondacks. The Syracuse area is called Central New York.
Central New York, okay. I heard of New York City, but I'm not sure about these other places. But welcome. And those are two new residents. And we actually have two tryout visitors. They've been here, they came in yesterday, and they've been wandering around our campus here, meeting all the folks, and that is Joe Todd and Becky Hawkins. Where are they? Where's Joe Todd? There they are right over. Stand up, please. You have to stand up. And they are from a little town in Coleman Falls, Virginia. And where is Coleman Falls, Virginia? Is any? Is it near Syracuse? Anyway, these two ladies here are avid women's basketball fans. Avid. They spent their entire careers coaching women's basketball at the college level. And so they're still interested in that. I don't know why, but anyway, Duke seems to be their primary focus for watching women's basketball. We welcome them, and we're hoping that they'll be so impressed by all of us here and the friendliness and the beautiful grounds that they're going to sign up on the wait list, and they're going to be our neighbors soon, hopefully. They have to make that decision, so they'll be here the rest of the day. If you see them, make sure help them make that final decision to move here to Kendall. Oh, and we have one other resident here who's been here for about 1.5 years, but has never shown up. Finally, Nancy got Joe Griswold, knocked on her door this morning, woke her up and says, you got to come down here. So here's Joe Griswold. We finally made it. She lives right across the hall from me, and I never see her before noon. You know, so, but anyway, she agreed to come here and to be recognized. So welcome to our group here. I'm sorry? No. You know, you have those motion detectors over your bed, so you have to wake up before 10:30. Otherwise, boarding calls you and wakes you up anyway. So I always know that if I wave at my motion detector before 10:30, I'm good for the rest of the day. So anyway, well, actually the first important, and this is very serious now, we have to make a decision on who is going to take over the council next year. You know, this is the end of an era. This is it, folks. This is the 11th time I sit before you, and unfortunately, my time is up. I have one more month, 31 December, and then we're going to have a new council. And the nominating committee has already presented that council to you, and I want John to come up here and bring those people forward again and to see if we're going to approve the council for next year.
Okay, good morning. For the folks who are here, Lee Hinkle, are you here?
Please come
there she is.
forward.
Come on up.
Come forward.
And Tom Goss, come on up.
Come on down.
Linda Kramer. There you go. Hey, you're already here.
He's already down.
Yeah. Linda Dwyer. And Malou. And James Comstock. And I'm going to ask Ed Baum to stand as well. He is returning for another year on the resident council, a two-year term. So this would be your 2024 resident council. And
what is their jobs? What are they going to do?
Well, Liz nominated to be president. Tom is vice president. Linda Kramer as secretary. Linda Dwyer as treasurer. Malou is a member at large. Jim Comstock is a member at large. And Ed Baum continuing as a member at large. So, Paul?
These are the group that will lead you next year, and we need the consensus of this organization. Are there any objections to approving this council for next year? And let me tell you, if you object, you're replacing one of these people. So you raise your objections. Do I have consensus on this council meeting? Well, I guess you're in place January 1st. We expect you to start working. And I will note that you can tell 4 of these people are on my council. So, there's a good transition. Either it speaks for my council that they use in 4 of my former members to also serve in next year's council, but they're in different positions here. So, because our rules, we have very strict rules. You can only serve 2 years on the council in a particular position. And so 4 of these have served in 2 years, but they're switching over. So we have a treasurer, now the secretary, now the treasurer. Anyway, thank you very much, folks, for coming. And now we get our update from our illustrious staff. And Jan, you're on once again. We always call her first because she is in charge,
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the annual Resident Association meeting. I'll give you a few updates. So the administrative position update, we are still recruiting for a director of nursing to oversee our Borden Health Center's clinical needs. Bruce Oren is still currently with us as our interim director. We also continue to recruit for a controller, and that controller will hopefully be the person that we get that will replace, well, no. Let me back up a moment. Will follow Felicia Bush and become our CFO. So that is our hope. And we continue to use recruiters for both those positions. Not having a whole lot of luck. We have done some interviews, but we will continue to hang in there and look for the right folks to fill those positions. Give you a little update on the affiliation agreement. It has been quite a year, and we actually have a final draft, pretty much, of the affiliation agreement. What we're now waiting on is the trust negotiations between KCC, which is Kendall Crosslands, and the Kendall Corporation, which would be the corporation itself and all of us as affiliates. The concerns are still the territory for expansion for Kendall Crosslands to use the Kendall logo, and then, of course, the date that Kendall Crosslands will release the Kendall brand to the trust. So the trust will own the Kendall brand once once Kendall Crosslands actually releases that to us. So those are the two things that they are still negotiating and talking about. As I have more updates, I will be glad to give those to you, but we will not be signing the affiliation agreement until the trust is settled. CARF accreditation. How many of you know that we are accredited by CARF? Oh, good, quite a few of you. Well, it's our time again. And we're up for reaccreditation, and those dates have been scheduled for December 11th through December 13th. Happy holidays to us. It looks as if we will have 2 surveyors on campus and 1 financial surveyor. Am I correct? Felicia will be talking to Felicia via Zoom or conference calls. For some reason, they just don't bring those financial surveyors on campus. So we've been collecting and reviewing a lot of documents since April. So that's a pretty big deal. They'll be looking at 4 years and whether we've been following those rules and the accreditation or expectations for those 4 years. So those 3 days will consist of a lot of interviews. We will probably be asking some of you to be part of that. They want to hear from the folks that use our services, which are all of you. So we hope that if you receive a call from Stephanie's really been the one that's been coordinating all of this, and it's a huge job. Please cooperate and help us out. We'll need folks to help us with the tour, and then they'll want to meet with some of you. They'll also meet with board members, and they'll meet with quite a few of the leadership team and the staff as well. So that's December 11th through the 13th. And then last but not least, I just wanted to remind folks that we do have a partner in Functional Pathways that does our therapy here on the campus. We also do outpatient therapy. So we do now, and for a while we did not have a physical therapist on site. We needed to use Zoom and do telehealth. We now have a full-time physical therapist, excuse me, on staff. So you no longer have to use the telehealth. So please, please, please do not hesitate to ask questions, visit, talk to Heather and her team. Both my mother and husband have used the services over here, and they've been very happy. Tells you what I go home to. They both needed physical therapy. So. Caretaker here, caretaker at home. So much fun. So I really do encourage you to use those services. And if you have any questions, please let us know. And last but not least, I have heard the word snow mentioned, that we will actually be maybe seeing some of the white stuff. So as you know, I am definitely a winter person. I love snow, so it will be nice to see some snow once January and February hit. So I know not everyone loves it, but please tolerate it for me. I would appreciate it. And Paul, what do I say? You know, I don't know where to say thank goodness. I'll miss the abuse. The rumors that you started about me having a company car. I will miss you though. I know you're still around, but it has just been so much fun to be a part of the Jan and Paul show. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ted, where are you, Ted? Where's the picture? No camera? No. Thank you, Jan. Now, I don't know what CARF is, but I'm sure it's something important. So when they're here, make sure you get up a little early, you know, put on your good clothes and be in a good mood. So when they wander around, you can make a good impression on them. So we want those 5, is it 5 stars we want?
No, this is CARF.
Oh, this is not star? What do we get out of CARF then? Except we have to pay them to come here and put on a good show, and we get nothing for it?
You get a nice little seal of approval.
Oh, the seal. We got to have another seal for another 5 years. Anyway, I guess it's very important to get a seal from CARF. So on December 11th, 13th, if you don't feel up to it, please go on vacation, take a few days off. Just don't be hanging around here with the somber tone on your face. Anyway, next up, of course, is Todd. I hope he hasn't gotten wet from the latest leak that you saw here. A little shower. I'm sure he can take care of that without any problem here. What's the problem here?
How long do I have?
Well, not long, no, but this is very important here, meeting, so we can't spend too much time with our staff. But anyway.
Thanks. All right, good morning, everybody. I'll go through a quick list, and then I'll see if I missed anything at the end with questions. So just by way of going down the list of updates, elevator 2, the main one by the dining steps, continues to give us some problems. The upgrade contract for that was signed in January. They told us they would be here in October. I talk to them once a week and yell at them. They're not here yet to fix it. So we're in the queue. We've contracted and paid for put the deposit down on those repairs. They promised me they will show up and fix it soon, but I don't have a date yet for you on that. The sewer backup repairs continue. Of the 2 apartments that had problems, 1 is done and the resident is back in. The second one, the repairs are finishing this week, and then we're cleaning and doing moving early next week. Barely making the Thanksgiving promise we made, but the guys will be working late to get that done, so we'll be done in a few days on that. Some of you know of some humidifiers that had some challenges that were put in past years. The first 3 of the new ones have been installed as a test case. We're going to let this new model run for a few months and see if they work better than the old models that were in some of those locations. The last of those installs, those first 3, was completed yesterday, so that project is moving as well. The access control phase 1 project, you have probably seen the folks around working on that. They are pulling wiring and making the network connections now to the doors. So please be careful and be aware, because they are on ladders, sometimes right next to these doors and so forth. That project is underway. The materials have all arrived for that, and they're just working through their checklist now, so that's going very well. Cottage 1036 here, next to Sunnyside. We did get a new roof and new gutters on this year using 1 contractor. And yesterday we signed a contract with someone who's willing to do the renovation for us in there, which is great. That only took 11 months to find someone willing to take our money. They say they'll be here in about 4 months. That's their backlog before they show up. But it is signed and contracted, and it's a company that some of us have done business with and have pretty good confidence in what we'll get in the end. So that at least has a little tick mark next to it on the list. The roofing phase 1 project, as you know, is complete. Phase 2 is, there you go. So if you live right under an air hammer, you have a break now for a while, right? Hopefully 30, 40 years till we have to do that again. We went with some long-term, very good commercial roofing. Phase 2 is signed, funded, and under contract as well. They will come back as soon as the weather breaks. We're hoping sometime in March. And that phase 2 is going to be all of the cluster cottages, the fitness center, the pool, and all of Borden Center, where we stopped over here. So it's about 140,000 square feet of new roofing that they'll come back in the spring and start. They did just under 100,000 on this first phase. So it's actually an even bigger project for next time. But if you've seen some of those roofs, they need it, and I look forward to getting that repaired. The North Apartments, 1st and 3rd floor carpet project is moving. That is under contract as well. They don't think they'll get it done by the end of the year, but they'll be very, very close. And Felicia says we'll probably be able to pay it anyway, even if it's not done by December 31st. So we'll do some voodoo on the paperwork. They will be here working. The parts are ordered. It's just all in the queue for the materials. Some north foundation repairs have been funded and approved as well. We have some settling and some cracking issues on some different foundations. That's a 23 project. They say they're going to come on December 29th to do those repairs. So I told him to bring his handwritten bill so I can do the paperwork then as well. Sewer jetting. We talked about some backup issues last time. We brought in a contractor. We've been doing inside the building work with the equipment we purchased, but we also brought in a contractor who did some steam jetting on the outside lines. So starting at the manholes and coming back towards the buildings. You can't do that inside the building. As soon as you get to that first building connection, that's as far as you can go with that equipment. but we jetted the entire campus of all those main lines and blasted out what was accumulated and plugging those up. I'm actually talking to Felicia and Jan. We're probably going to try to do that iteratively, maybe every year, just instead of waiting till there's problems in the future. The fire panels, you probably have seen and heard some, the fire panels singing the song of their people recently. Those panels are aging. We're having a lot of problems with them. Johnson Controls has told us some fixes they can do and how long it will take and how much it will cost. After that conversation, I've reached out to 2 other companies who said, okay, if I remove all the Johnson Controls panels, what can you put in here instead? That equipment is aging and it's very difficult and disruptive to replace, but that is underway, and I've got some funding and some resources allocated for that. The Kendall Hall curtain, I continue to struggle to find anyone willing to sell us a curtain. We're on to 3 companies now who do that business, and no one will return our calls or show up. If anyone here has a really big sewing machine and this is something you like to do, reach out to me because I have the resources to replace this. I just can't find a company who actually wants to do the work, unfortunately. Our deer calling project continues. We are up to 13 deer that the staff have called, including 3 out of the northern herd. The northern herd is extremely difficult to get, and they're the deer that primarily hassle the folks who live up on Sunrise Ridge and those gardens. That is city property, and the city does not allow those programs. Well, they do, but they put restrictions on it to the point that it's impossible to actually do it. But if the deer is dumb enough to step over the line and nibble on one of the bushes that's in the county side of the line, we've gotten actually 3 of those. So that has worked well. Highland, our HVAC tech, some of you know Highland. Highland is moving on to another opportunity. Friday will be his last day with us. So if you see Highland, please thank him for his time and work for us. And the last 3 things I'll mention is just for to ask y'all's continued help on some things. We talked about sewer backups and flushing last time. Please, please, please pass the word and help us. Nothing gets flushed other than waste and toilet paper. The day after the jetting, we pulled things out of a brand new line. It continues to be a problem. So please do not flush anything other than what I said. The mechanical rooms and the dumpster fences in those areas. Please stay out of those areas. I yell at my folks to lock them when they're done, but sometimes they don't. Please don't go into the mechanical rooms and things like that. They're just not safe if you don't know the different equipment and procedures around in there. And we've run into a couple residents in those spaces recently. So please stay out of them for your own safety. And lastly, for everybody's safety, the Washington and Lee Traffic and Pedestrian Safety Project is underway. Their deadline is in April, so we won't get a lot of immediate action and results out of that right away. But some of their traffic counting and traffic sensor stuff that they put out yielded some evidence of some pretty significant speeding around the campus. Some of which is employees, but not all of which is employees. So I've yelled at my folks, and I'm politely asking these folks to please just watch your speed and safety around campus. So we have a lot of folks who walk. It gets dark earlier now this time of year. We did put in new bulbs into the burned out streetlights. We rented a lift and went around and took care of that. But there are areas where it still is dark and where people like to walk. So please be very careful. Watch your speed as you go around campus. All right, that was my list. Did I miss anything critical? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I missed the work you're doing on 1st and 3rd.
We are replacing the carpeting on the north building apartment area, 1st and 3rd floor, but actually the carpeting is the smallest, easiest part of that project. We're actually rebuilding the floor decking when that carpet comes up, because if you've noticed the decorative tape on the floor, right, in some areas, there's some problems with the construction of the subfloor, and we're actually going to be rebuilding all that when we pull the carpet up.
Will
Yes,
the
ma'am.
carpet be replaced in the south building?
The south building is a 24 capital budget request, which is not signed and approved yet, but I'm pretty sure that one's going to be above the red line. So yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Todd. I'm just totally exhausted by that list. I don't know how one person can keep a handle on all the different projects that he has. And I want to thank Todd for all the work he's done and his staff. They're doing an amazing job, and I'm sure he's exhausted when he walks in here, and he's more exhausted when he leaves. But I think he's doing a great job for us, and I want to thank him for all the work he and his management are doing. And you know that those elevator people that won't show up, you know, we've been missing a resident here for about 2 or 3 months, and I think they may be in that elevator. You know, I mean, I don't know if that'll help get them to move in quicker, but if you see a missing resident, please notify Todd so he knows we can account for him or her, or whoever it is. But anyway, next we're going to follow Eric. Marketing. And she's most important, obviously, but they're going to keep us fully staffed, fully employed, enough residents here to keep us at our top occupancy.
Absolutely.
That's your job.
Yes, it is. I'm glad to know that's my job. Awesome. Good morning. So we had a very successful October and November. Kevin was able to reserve Cottage 202 on Sunrise Ridge, and we're excited to share more about that when we get those folks through their final approvals. The Craigs will be moving into their permanent space next week on the 21st, so we are excited to welcome them as official members of Sycamore Lane. So please welcome them just in time for Thanksgiving, although they've been here for a little while now. We did have a successful open house. We had 26 participants, which led to a try-it visit, so we're going to count that as a win. Thank you to everyone, staff, and residents who helped us with that. We could not have done it without you, so thank you. We only have 2 spaces open to reserve right now, which are apartment 12 and Isabel's Cottage, as you heard. So we hope to have those both reserved before the end of the year. And then Isabel's Cottage should be finished and ready to move in by the end of July, early August. So we're excited to get folks into there. More to come on that front. We're going to finish out an internal move in December and then close the books on 2023. We already have 7 reservations for next year. If we can get Isabel's and 12 reserved, we'll have 9. So very busy moving into the new year. And the last thing I'll say is on December 1st, some of you may already know this, there is a Christmas parade in downtown. And I think it would just be a wonderful marketing opportunity if we participated in that. So in years past, we have had staff participate in that. And this year I'm going to ask residents to. But it'll be the easiest thing you've ever done in your life if you want to do it. You're literally going to get on a decorated bus and ride. So it's really not going to be that difficult. The maximum we can take is 14. So it is kind of a first come, first serve. I'm going to put a sign up sheet in front of the mailbox, and I'm going to check it the day after Thanksgiving, which I won't be here. So somebody's going to check this the day after Thanksgiving and let me know how many we have. But literally wear something festive, get a warm drink, spike it if you want. I won't say anything, and just get on the bus and ride. So we hope that some of you would be interested in doing that. Does anybody have any questions? Susie?
Can we wear a weird costume?
Please. Yes. She said, can we wear a weird costume? And maybe that's a requirement. I don't know. But yeah, whatever you want to wear, please do. And I'll turn it over to Katie and Kevin really quick for a quick update on their front. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica.
Good morning. She says it casually with the 9 for next year, but that's our goal for the whole year. So getting that in October 2023 for next year, we're doing okay. Now everybody stay put, and we can stick with that 9. But this month we did a lot of tours, try-its, everything, as expected for October in Virginia. We saw people from, of course, all over Lexington and Rockbridge County, Roanoke, Blacksburg. Today we welcome someone from Coleman Falls, Richmond, DC, and then we had people from out of state coming from Chicago, Northern New York, Clemson, South Carolina, Delaware, and Vermont. So, and we are also excited to welcome Tina and Tom, and I'll let Kevin say hi to David.
Hi, David. Good morning. All those tours and try-its resulted in 3 new waitlist members since the last Residents Association meeting. That puts us at 28 new members year to date. Our goal for 2023 is 30. So, Katie, we need 2 more. That puts us at a current total of 181 couples and individuals on our wait list, 41 of whom are on the ready list. So yeah, every time something opens up, we start making phone calls, and it usually does not take long to find the next residence. So thank you all again for all that you do to help us do what we do.
Thank you. Thank you. And of course, marketing is so important to keep us fully occupied here. Obviously, we're always close to 100% occupancy, and that's our goal. And thanks to marketing and all the work they do, they pretty much keep us close to that goal. So we thank you, marketing, and your people for helping us on that. And no, you cannot wear a weird costume on Christmas. This is a holiday event, so. And but you will be able to wear a little Santa Claus outfit, a beard, or whatever you want. But please, no weird costumes. This is a family parade down the street. What time does the parade start?
It starts at 6 p.m., but we would need to be in place around 4:30.
Okay, so Joe Griswold, you'll be awake for the parade there at 6 p.m. So nobody has to get up early to participate. So I know there'll be a rush. So when you leave here, go ahead and sign up for the bus. It's right there. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Megan, who's going to give us a little update on the staff. And we just heard the sad news that Highland's leaving, but we just have to live with it and bear with it. But your job is to find his replacement and keep us fully staffed.
Morning, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, because I don't present in all of these meetings, I am Megan Worley. I'm the Director of HR. In 3 days, I'm proud to say that it will be my 4-year anniversary. Thank you. So thank you all for welcoming me into your home. Oh, okay. Sorry. Welcoming me into your home and allowing me to be here for 4 years. We've had a lot going on in the world of HR for the past year, and I'm supposed to have 5 minutes to capture a whole year, so if I talk fast, I apologize. We did receive the promotion of Clint from the culinary world into HR, and I am so lucky to have him. He's amazing. He started out as the HR assistant, and last month we actually changed his title to better meet the strategic objectives of the HR team. So his official title now is an Employee Engagement and Development Specialist. So Clint is actually on a well-deserved cruise right now, and I miss him, but he will be back in time for Thanksgiving next week. So last week we completed open enrollment for benefits, and we had 100% participation for all of our benefits eligible employees, which was great, and I couldn't have done that without Clint. Our turnover rate as of the end of last week is 38.33%. That is compared to a turnover rate of 38.71% the same time last year. Year to date, we have hired 70 new employees. That compares to 59 the same time last year. With regards to those who have chose to leave Kendall at Lexington, there have been 56 employees so far this year compared to 54 the same time last year. The opportunities that we are currently recruiting for is 3 full-time CNAs for board and nursing, 1 overnight CNA for Webster Assisted Living, a PRN Life Enrichment Program Assistant, full-time dietary aides, a full-time dietary lead, a full-time care coordinator, although I hope we have an offer forthcoming soon. Obviously the full-time financial controller and director of nursing that Jan mentioned. We also have a full-time executive chef, a full-time floor technician, and PRN CNAs, LPNs, and RNs for Borden and Webster, PRN cooks for Anderson, and PRN dietary aides and wait staff for culinary. This is a really tough time of year to recruit. A lot of people have vacations planned for the holidays and things like that, so it's tough to draw people away from their current employers, or they're waiting on holiday bonuses, things like that. So, but we are actively recruiting for all these and hope to get them filled soon. we do have some accomplishments that I'm proud to talk about. So some of you may have attended the first Health and Wellness Fair, which we had since pre-COVID. That was Livin' La Vida Luau. And we also hosted a staff anniversary luncheon for all staff that celebrated 3 or more years of service with us. We have a lot of exciting things coming around the corner in 2024, including rolling out an enhanced PTO plan for our staff. We are working on providing richer tuition reimbursement benefits. For the first time ever, we are offering pet insurance, and we added orthodontia coverage to our dental benefits. And I'm also excited to say we have another Shark Tank event coming up in February. And in this season of gratitude, I feel I must mention that I could not be successful in my role without the partnership of those on my team. So Clint Ayers has been with Kendall Lexington for 7.5 years. Victoria Foreman has been with us for over 6 years. And Kristen Youngman has also been with us for over 6 years, and she recently got married. So thank you to all of them, and thank you to all of you.
Thank you very much. You can see that Megan and her staff are doing a great job trying to keep in our staff at full strength. But of course, we're competing against, not only do we live in a rural community here, but we also competing against Washington University, Virginia Military Institute, and who else is our major competitor? Oh, the hospital. So I mean, it's a tough market here. And we may not be able to pay the top salaries, but there's a lot more to getting a paycheck in a work environment. And one of that is creating a work environment that's conducive to low stress, that they're working for people who really appreciate what they're doing. And I think that's our responsibility to make sure that we thank our staff as we run into them on a day-to-day basis. The housekeeping, the dining people that we see every day, and the maintenance people who come to our apartments to fix things. We need to thank them personally so that they feel that they're part of our community and that we're grateful for all the work they're doing. Because it's the work environment that also, I think, greatly impacts upon whether a person wants to stay here and work or whether they just want to move on to get a higher paycheck. You can get a higher paycheck, but the working conditions could be more stressful and not as pleasing and inviting. And so it's important to us to create this inviting community that we are and make sure our staff realizes that we do appreciate all the work they do. So we keep our turnover reduced as much as possible. Anyway, I thank you, Megan, once again. I think, it's amazing the staff that we have here, especially the core leadership team headed by Jan and Todd. I mean, it's amazing. I think we are so lucky to have the core leadership team that we have here and working so hard for us. And of course, they appreciate all the people that work for them and want to thank them. And there's Danielle in the back there, our chief nurse there. Are you applying for the chief nurse job? We don't. Oh, she not. No, we like her as. Yeah, that's right. She is our nurse, and we don't want you to go over to that other building in charge. But anyway, I want to personally thank all of them for all the work they do, because I mean it's amazing that keeps us creates this environment that we've come to and we come to appreciate. Next we have Judy. Judy, remember Judy? Judy. I think she's still the head of dining for another month or so. She and I are going on a long cruise together. So, but I've asked Judy to come up, and since this will be her last opportunity to make a public statement of all the hard work that she has done. I'm sure she's done some of it. No,
I can do it in another 10 minutes.
Another 10 minutes. Okay,
yeah.
And here's Judy. Please give us the latest update on.
Well, hello, everybody. I wanted to make sure I took this moment to thank you. Yes, you do have a great staff here. Yes, we do work for the best people in the world. But yes, there comes a time when, sorry, I gotta go. I am looking forward to retirement. I am looking forward to relaxing. Has it been stressful here? Not particularly, not with the crew that I work with, my counterparts, and you, my customers. So, it is a pleasure to have served you, and I think I better stop. So thank you so much for having me in your home. You got about 6 weeks of abuse to accept from me before I really leave.
Thank you, Judy. But what about food? What about a hot breakfast? I mean, what about more selections of dining? I mean, let's talk about some essential things.
So I gotta leave something for the new guy to do. So that's on his list. You're looking at some changes in the restaurant. You're looking at some changes in the menu items. I've given him everything I could think of that I wanted to do that I couldn't get done, and he's got some great ideas. So I'm leaving the dining services, the culinary services, in very capable hands. In fact, he's on a director's call right now, which is why he's not up here. And I understand there's a crunch on time today, so we could definitely not let Brian speak because he's a little too long-winded. So, but I'll be cruising in and out, and maybe I'll stop in and abuse you shortly after I retire. Thank you so much.
Well, so much for the staff. Now we're going to get down to the committees, and our up is Diane, who can talk about what's going on in the Culture and Entertainment Committee.
Thank you. For those of you who are new, you weren't here during COVID, and one of the things that we needed was food all the time, and dining services was amazing in how they gathered together with the staff and the buses and so on. So again, let's thank Judy and the dining staff. Okay, this evening at 7, the Memoirs Project, VMI cadets and some of our residents are going to read their final project. They've been involved in it this fall. How many of you have actually participated in the Memoirs Project over the years? Great. This is a wonderful interchange, and I think that you'll really enjoy hearing some of the pieces that people have written in this project. And I'm sure it's going to continue, and I hope that some of the others of you will take advantage of it. This Saturday on the stage, we're having Rockbridge Ballet is going to come in and do some excerpts from the Nutcracker that they're going to be performing in December. So you might want to see these lovely young people dancing up here. We have Thanksgiving, and then the last week of November, Jack Page is going to talk about some of the strange and marvelous places that he served in, worked in the 60s, including Antarctica. It's pretty basic back then. We have some events that we're going to go to at Washington and Lee. You can see those. And on the 6th of December, Melissa Davis from the Marshall Foundation is going to come here, and she is so excited because she's going to tell us about how the troops celebrated the holidays, even though they were in far places that they were doing it. And she said, well, can I do this and can I do that? And so she's just very happy to do it. The other thing that the Kendall Singers are going to be here, we have the holiday concert downtown that our community chorus will be doing. And another holiday special that we're going to be having is a VMI homes tour of the superintendent's residence and the dean's residence. Linda Mareshi is the dean's wife, and so she has coordinated that. So I hope that you'll be able to do it. We can take any number of people. We may have one bus, we may have two, and people can carpool. So I hope that you sign up for it because we do need people to sign up. We're going to have a guitar concert, and Paul is going to be our MC again for our holiday New Year's Eve party, and we'll have more details on that when the time comes. And I went right over the craft fair that is the first weekend in December, but Ruth is going to talk about that in a minute.
Thank you, Diane. And of course, the Culture and Entertainment Committee, they're one of the most active committees that plan all these trips, from local trips in town, also, you know, entertainment here in Kendall. And so we want to thank them for all the work her committee does and come up with all these different ideas and programs for us. Next we have Ted. Is Ted here? Ted Burrows. He's going to give us I think I gave him a minute and a half to talk.
I think 45 seconds is going to work.
Okay. Should I sit down?
Unless you're going to abuse me like everybody else. The photo gang enjoys keeping the digital photo screen over by the alcove populated with different shows as the years go by, months go by. We want to do a show of photos related to the holidays during December. I've got about 30, I think, photos so far, and maybe Vic has a few more. We need you to give us your photos from when you were a kid, when your kids were kids, or within the last year or something, of anything holiday that will speak to residents and holidays. Electronic form, you can email it to me. If you need us to scan it, you can get me or Vic or maybe John would get some, but we need some more, please.
Thank you very much. And of course, that digital display is right by that elevator that doesn't work. So, I mean, you know, you can spend a lot of more time looking at those photos while you're waiting for that elevator door to open. And it's not supposed to open, so you have to go around the back. Anyway, next we have Ruth is going to talk to us about the Fall Craft Festival. And you can see they're ready to take over. As soon as this meeting's over, they're ready to take over here. I thought this was all going to be gifts for me, but they said no, unless I buy them myself. But anyway, Ruth, where's Ruth? Ruth, you can talk about that.
Thank you, Paul. And if I could have all the vendors, if I could have all of the vendors, the people that are going to be sellers in our craft fair, come up with your sample, please. Please come. Okay, while they're coming up to show you their wares, I just want you to know that we are inching closer and closer to our 4th annual Kendall Arts and Crafts Fair, and it's always held the first weekend in December. So this year it is Friday, December the 1st, Saturday, December 2nd. Both days it is from 10 to 3. Right here in Kendall Hall. The doors open at 10 o'clock, not a minute before. So the fair's guidelines have been and are that what is sold has been made by the Kendall resident, staff member, or board member. So we will see lots of kinds of creations for you to buy creatively. I want to recognize the core group that has been working on this. Meg Stackpole, where is Meg? She does the setup and takedown. Donna Bradish has been working on staff connections. Diane Herrick, marketing, and hands-on, Erica Turman, marketing. We have cards that you can take with you to give out to friends. They look like this. They're really very beautiful, created by Erica Turman. And you can take them with you. And if you are so inclined, please stay after the meeting to participate in our workshop where we will be creating holiday items to be sold at the fair, with the proceeds going to our Staff Appreciation Fund. So with that, I would like everybody to hold up their a sample of their items that they're going to be selling. Okay, so please come to the fair, bring your friends, and think about shopping creatively. And Diane is going to say more about the workshop.
We had a workshop last week, and we're going to finish up today on some of the things that are up here. So I hope that you might consider staying or coming back to help do it. This is new this year of having people we found different projects, and we had Beth Knapp and Karen Waters in the back, and I'm missing one person.
Jane.
Oh, Jane Comstock with the lavender sachets. And they've gathered the materials together so that you can just come in and make something and just sit down and then leave. And then, as Ruth said, all of the proceeds will go to the Staff Appreciation Fund. Yes?
I just want to make one small comment. My children like to shop at this fair too, and they do it with me holding this. And it's a great way for them to get Christmas presents for all kinds of people. So you might want to consider that.
Thank you. Thanks, Ruth.
Thank you very much. You can see we have a lot of talented people here. You notice I wasn't one of the ones standing up here, but I have purchased from them in the past, and and so I will probably purchase a few things again this year. So I still have 9 minutes left, and the first thing I want to talk about is the Fall Staff Appreciation Fund. I thought somebody was crying. That was Staff Appreciation Fund. So far to date, we have 75 households have made a contribution to the Staff Appreciation Fund, which is 42% of our residents. So it's important that those of us who have not made a contribution to the Staff Appreciation Fund to go ahead. When you leave here, you go directly home, you find your checkbook, and you write that check to Kendall at Lexington Staff Appreciation Fund. Not only do we want to raise $100,000, so far we've raised $66,000. So that's about 2/3 of our goal. We still have the rest of the month before the campaign ends, which is December 1st. So you still have another week or so to make that contribution. But as always, if you go home today and find your checkbook and go ahead and write that check, and then it's over. You don't have to be bothered again, because you will receive a follow-up letter by email asking you, if you have not contributed, to please make the contribution. And as I said, not only are we hoping for 100%, $100,000 contribution, which we've arrived at during the last two fund drives, but we also want 100% participation. Every resident here benefits from the work of our dining staff, our housekeeping staff, our maintenance staff, and our medical staff. And that we all participate, but our rule here is we do not tip any of our staff during the year. So twice a year, this is the time to show our appreciation. And so it's important that we do that, and we do it by making a monetary gift to them. And once the contributions are in, they decide, the staff receives a check based on the length of service they've had here at Kendall, and also the number of hours they work. So there's a formula. And I know the last few times, a significant number of people received over $1,000 check. So that's kind of a nice little thank you that we can give to our staff. So it's very important. But whether you can make write out a check for $1,000, $500, or $200, everyone here can afford to write a check. Whether it's $25 or $100 or $500, everyone should be able to write a check for the Staff Appreciation Fund. In the past, we had about, I think last time we had about 83% participation. And there's no reason why we can't have a 100% participation of all residents. And so I'm asking you to please make that our goal this time. Next thing is committee membership. Each year in November, we ask everyone to sign up for committee membership. Not only to re-sign up for those who are already on a committee, but we also, so everybody has to re-sign up. Say, even though you've been serving on a committee, we want you to re-sign up. Or if you haven't been on a committee, sign up for one of the committees. And there's 12 of them. So there's plenty of opportunity to find a committee that piques your interest, that you have some interest in. And so we ask you to please sign up for the membership on one of the committees. I got here 5 years ago in November this year, and you got all this paperwork when you move in, and I saw this piece of paper that says you had to sign up for membership. I thought it was mandatory, and so I signed up for 2 committees. I just wanted to make sure I was fully participating. That's how I got hooked. So I didn't think it was an option, but it is an option. But we do encourage everybody to get involved in some type of committee. So far, we've had 56 residents. 56 out of almost 200 have already signed up for a membership on one of the committees. So that we have a long way to go. So once again, when you go back, after you write your check, look for that piece of paper for membership, sign it, fill it out, says, I will join this committee. So we have a full membership for next year. Christmas decorations. You know, Christmas is here right after Thanksgiving, in case you forgot. But on December 5th, which is a Tuesday, we are going to decorate Kendall Hall in the dining room and here in the public spaces. This is a project of the Furnishings and Interior Committee. But, you know, we only have a few people. We have 6 or 7 people on the Furnishings Committee. Some of them are over 100 years old. And so what we need is a few volunteers to help us trim the trees, to hang wreaths and all that. So if you are available at 9 o'clock, I know that's early, Joe, but you know, if we can get you up if you're willing to help us to decorate for Christmas, please show up here, down here. I'll be here. Find me, and I'll put you in the right direction of where you can help us complete the decorations. Hopefully we'll get everything done by noon on Tuesday the 5th. So we have, not only did you see the new council members, 4 of which are on the current council, but I also want to thank Suetta Harrison, who's on a cruise. She took off early and missed her meeting here. But also, I want to thank Doreen Logan something. She is a member at large, and she is completing 4 years on the council. She served 2 years, was off a year, and came back for 2 more years. And so she has filled her commitment. She can no longer serve on the council for the rest of her time here. But I want to thank Doreen for her 4 years serving on the council. And of course, Suetta Harrison is completing her 2 years as secretary. She usually sits here right in front, but of course now we have Linda taking her place, taking the notes. But I want to thank Suetta. And the other people, I just want to thank Lee Henkel, who was the vice president, Linda Dwyer. She was a member at large. She's going to be the treasurer. Linda Kramer was the treasurer, and I'm going to be the secretary. Ed Baum, who's completing he has 1 more year to go as a member at large. And I want to thank them for serving on the council with me during these past 2 years. And I don't want to forget Meg Seckpole. And is she here? She also served with me last year on the council, so thank her for her support. And Margaret, where's Margaret? Margaret, the one who handles all the movies. Fletcher, she's not here. She also served as a member at large my first year. I want to thank her as well. So, and you heard about the Christmas parade, so I don't go ahead and sign up for that. And the last thing, I want you to once again introduce our past presidents. Here we have Ruth Woodcock. Is Ruth here? Please come up here, Ruth. Ruth was the president, one of our earliest presidents, 2002 to 2003. She as a council president. So come on up here, Ruth. And Mary Stratton, is Mary here? Mary Stratton. Come on up, Mary. Come on up, Mary. Mary served as president from 2012 to 2013, come on up here. Stand up in front, Ruth. You don't have to give a speech. I just want people to see who you are and acknowledge you. Winifred Hart, is Winifred here? Winifred's not here. Winifred Hart served as 2014 to 2015. Karen Russell, Karen, please come up forward. She served as the president from 16 to 17, and she's currently our resident representative on the Kendall board, so she's still higher up there in the ranks. Joe Scavira, Joe, where's Joe? Come on up, Joe. And of course, Diane Herrick, my predecessor. Please come on up here, stand in front of this August group here. And I can say I'm proud to join this illustrious group as a member of the Alumni Association of your council presidents. And I would please recognize them and thank them for their work. All right, folks, it's 11 p.m. That is it. We're done. If there's any food left, please go ahead and take part of it. Thank you very much. I enjoyed being here for the past 2 years.
Let's thank Paul.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. Good night.